Hello?
I got my phone on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello? Am I here? Are y'all here? Y'all there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just need to make sure, just to give everybody kind of a heads up, I'm in transition right now. I'm on the bus. So, if I have to say hold on or something like that, that's just because of the background noise or something like that. And I'm checking in to make sure I'm still online because I don't know if my signal's going to be in and out. But, I got to make sure I get the message to the people tonight regardless. So yeah, with all that being said, as just a preliminary, how did y'all like the movie?
Man, it was excellent. It was very inspirational.
Right. It was exactly what the times are actually expressing to us right now. We live. Oh, hold on one second.
I'm quiet because I have not seen it yet, so that's my disclaimer that I did not view.
Pardon me, people. Like I said,
KT, my disclaimer was
right
I was not able to see Civil War as of yet. When I tried to get it this weekend, it was sold out, and my son Amir told me not to watch it without him, so I gotta wait.
Oh boy, well you might want to put the phone on mute tonight. Then this spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Now go in. I'm cool with that. Don't let that hold you back, please.
I caught the midnight debut. You know what I'm saying, to make sure that I had it in my mental. And like I said, it was super inspirational. I've been in the gym every day since. You know what I'm saying, because Black Panther definitely showed up. Just seeing a melanated superhero really does something to the psyche, and the entire movie was themed around melanin. So I'm going to let you take it from there.
Oh, without a doubt. And as you said, Civil War, there's a civil war within the family structure that's occurring right now because people have different ideologies as they come up in the society and get conditioned and brainwashed by the structure that is implanted in us. See, I did an event this weekend in St. Louis called BSAM, Black Speculative Art Movement, that dealt with the theme of Afrofuturism. And in that, I did the Black Panther because he's one of the greatest examples of Afrofuturism. What is the future? The future is the youth. The future are the children. There is no future without children. Now, how do you create a child? Children are created through procreation by way of copulation between man and woman. But how do you copulate? Well, your body, your fluids. You see what I'm saying? Your blood, your pheromones, your stamina, your endurance, your intent has to be resonating with one another in order to create such a miraculous moment as to create a life form. Now, what state is your mind in? What state is your body in? What state is your health in as you decide to create a child? You see, so our future depends upon our health right now, not later, because we have to take care of ourselves now so that the children that come are prepared for what the future holds. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to talk about, in regards to Afrofuturistic society, that of Wakanda and that of the Black family, because that is what seals the deal of the future coming into existence. Now, the civil war that's occurring right now is the rift that's in between the youth and the elders. And the reason why there's a rift is because as the children are being born, there's no foundation for them to stand on, which leaves chaos. So they are a reflection of the condition that they're currently in. So we see that as his father gets blown up in a bomb and he has to immediately, this is the first time he's on some diplomacy, underneath his father. And the minute that he steps out onto this plane in Mount Kuf, immediately his father is snatched away. They both can't occupy the same space, so he has to take the reins of being the king. He has to become the Black Panther now. As he sits outside and he speaks to Black Widow, and Black Widow is sitting with him, he tells you straight up. So it ain't no conjecture. It ain't me reaching. It ain't us trying to fixate Kemet on everything. The character himself said when he was sitting on that bench that We see death a little differently than you do. This is kind of a stepping off point where Bastet and Sekhmet waits for us in front of the green field. You see what I'm saying? Said it plain as day. So what was he talking about? After he made that statement, he said, but I'm not my father. He was trying to say his father is a peaceful man, a diplomatic man. I am the warrior. I am the Herakuti. I'm not about to play that. And that's the youth. The youth ain't about to sit around here and just take all this garbage that's going on in the world. They lit and they're fed up with it. So they're going to take all this powerful energy that we have, the Akashic records, the culture, the wisdom, the force that exists here. They're going to pull that up throughout their chakra centers and their kundalini, and they're going to do it a little bit different, as the Black Panther let us see. Now, the Black Panther, what is he, and what do I mean by Bastet? Bastet, like I said, is an ancient deity, a nectar of Kemet, who represents she of the ointment jar. She is responsible for the healing of the soul. The black cat represents the black sun, okay? The healing energies of the sun. So the Aten, like Akhenaten would have, where they would have the sun with the hands reaching from it with ankhs, that's the Bastet energy, where the hot, piercing rays or damaging aspects, catastrophic aspects of the sun is represented by Sekhmet. Okay? Now, the Sekhmet Hathor energy is played by Scarlett Johansson. The Neith and Aset energy is played, the Hathor segment energy is played by Elizabeth Olsen, while the Neith Net or the Aset energy is played by Scarlett Johansson. Remember, these are all deities that reflect Aset. This is the source of the Black Panther's energy and the Black Panther's power. This is why these are the two individuals that are only able to hold him back. And also, the Black Widow's the only one that ever really is having the conversation with him. She's the first one to have a conversation with him when he shows up on the screen, and every other conversation after that is between the two of them because of who she represents within inside the aspects of these networks. All right, now, when you deal with the vibranium, yes, vibranium represents melanin because vibranium represents the metal that absorbs all vibrations. Vibrations can be relative to the electromagnetic spectrum. And hold on 1 second.
Blue, you there?
Yes, sir.
No doubt.
So
before KT gets on, are you recommending everybody go see Civil War? Is it a go?
It's a go.
Okay. I'm just, not for me per se, I'm just saying for the family in case they were still on the fence.
Nah, it's
don't go the bootleg route, right?
I mean, the movie into your consciousness, however you get it. I'm not advocating, you know what I'm saying, that you go and boost the budget of Marvel. If you could get it by other means, get it. You know what I'm saying? Just get the premise of the movie understood and have a level of perspective. See, for me, I saw this movie in the consecutive, the events that were going on this weekend, from the press conference to seeing young Pharaoh do his lecture. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to put everything in perspective just based on me seeing this uprising of youth. Yes.
Yes, I'm back. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm transporting right now, and I got to deal with all these other extra issues. However, as I was speaking about the whole concept of melanin being the molecule that is within inside the skin that is responsible for absorbing all of the frequencies that exist in the electromagnetic spectrum from radio to gamma. All those wavelengths represents vibration, which means that melanin is responsible for absorbing all vibrations, especially sound as well, those vibrations. Then if you're dealing with a fictional metal that deals with absorbing all vibrations, then they're one and the same. So every time you hear them talk about vibranium with his shield, or vibranium with the suit, or vibranium from the country, we're talking about melanin when we talk about that. Another way to drive the point home about melanin is the fact of we have to understand what his powers are. Like, most people don't even know what he can do. They just know he was just bad on the screen. Like, nothing could mess with him. People were shooting him, bullets was bouncing off. He was running as fast as cars. Real, when he jumped off buildings, he was silent when he landed. Folks was like, what is his powers? Well, the whole movie was centered around super soldier serum. All right? Synthetic versions of melanin and what melanin is capable of doing within inside a body of optimum health. All right, this is where Captain America represents a synthetic version of the Black Panther. That's why they had their particular type of relationship. See, he got his powers by way of his ancestry and his blood in connection with the plant world through a heart-shaped herb, while Captain America was the product of espionage and governmental lies. The only reason why he was able to accept the serum at the level that he did was because of the heart he contained inside of himself, like that. Now, the system that gets heightened in regards to the powers that the Panther possesses is called the proprioception system. Your proprioception system allows you to dictate where your body is and relativity to the environment you're in, even when your eyes are not fixated on a thing. For example, a football player, a basketball player, an Olympian who's doing the high jump. You see what I'm saying? Or a gymnast that has to do 3 or 4 flips. Their eyes are not able to focus on where they need to be. They cannot depend on their eyes, so they have to depend upon their inner ear and their balance, their equilibrium in relation to the environment. And this is the proprioception system. What ends up happening technically is your skin becomes your pupil. Now, how does that happen? Okay, scientists have proven that rhodopsin is inside of our keratinocytes. Keratinocytes are our skin cells. Rhodopsin is the protein inside our pupils that's able to detect black and white light. That is the rod is what is stimulated in the evening hours after the sun sets. You see. So we have rhodopsin in our skin, meaning if we're dealing with a situation where there's darkness or nothing around us, our skin can actually see through the melanin and allow us to understand where we are in relationship to everything around us. So if I want to flip, if I want to jump, if I want to leap, I don't have to depend on my eyes to do so. I depend on that other sight, which we always talk about with being the third eye. Now, the other system that gets heightened is the mechanoreceptors. Mechanoreceptors are all over our skin, everywhere, all over our body. This is what allows us to feel subtle vibrations, the wind, something crawling on our skin, or grip and texture in order to pick something up or put something down, okay? So if a mechanoreceptor, more specifically Purcini corpuscles, are the mechanoreceptors inside the ligaments and the tendons that are necessary for detecting subtle vibrations. And vibranium is a metal that deals with absorbing vibrations. Then we get a better understanding of the science that we're dealing with. And it's not a fictitious tale. What it is a code letting you know what parts of your body and your system that you need to focus on to become a greater example of a man, because that's all the Black Panther is, the greatest example of a man on the planet in this fictional universe that is Marvel. Let's keep in mind, Wakanda, that nation, the borders have never been breached. These are people that have never been conquered. They're 500 years in the future in technology, and they have learned how to integrate nature with technology in order to push themselves forward. The name Wakanda was not created by Marvel. Wakanda is the name for the creator over here in the Americas. What makes that so important? Well, the Panther is the Heru over here in the Americas. When you come over here to North and Central and South America, you're dealing with the Jaguar. You're dealing with the Panther, okay? And he has the same energies and the same stories as the Heru, except in this instance, we're dealing with a Pitamat, which is really an image of Asur and the Asaurian mythology down in the 25th dynasty of Upper Kemet. Hello?
Yes, sir.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I don't know if they about to jump on this PA system real quick or not. So if I say hold on, y'all just go ahead and keep it going, and then I'll come back
Right.
when
So
you're done.
we're talking about the priest system of the Pantera, the Pantera priests, which are
That's
found
right.
in South America. These are what predates the quote unquote Black Panthers, in
That's right.
Oakland and things of that nature. The priests of Pantera, and as our brother Horace Butler says, he said that Joshua ben Joshua belonged to the priests of Pantera. He said that the mythical story that they attribute to Jesus was an actual figure who was a warrior out here in Brazil.
Mhm.
Take it up with Horace. You feel me?
That's
'Cause
right.
he got bars for you, and he'll mop you. So holla at Horace Butler. You can go to the When Rocks Cry Out study group on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Now,
And
like I was
we'll be
saying,
having them back on Know the Ledge soon as well. Please continue.
the whole movie was centered around the Super Soldier Serum and all these people that were trying to be synthetic Black Panthers. That's why he was really the center of the movie. You see what I mean? That's what made his role so powerful. The the five super soldiers, it was real important that it was five of them, you see, because the five of them were related to Captain America. Captain America was the only soldier that was able to take the serum. The doctor, Erskine, ended up dying after Captain America got made. So the only other person that was able to crack the code was going to be Tony Stark's father, Howard Stark. So it took him all the way from that point in the 40s to the 90s. Remember, it was 91 when the Winter Soldier killed him, where they finally cracked the code, and they took it to these five soldiers. Why did they take it to these five soldiers? Because the five soldiers represented the epigonal days. It represented the five-pointed star that's on Captain America's shield. It represented those five Nethers, but just in a negative light, because like I said, the whole movie was about a synthetic version of what Black Panther possessed inside of him. And Captain America was responsible for those deviations because they were a product of him. You see what I'm saying? They were a product of the golden planet. Now, why was there such a relationship between the Winter Soldier and Black Panther? Why was Black Panther after him? Of course, he was supposed to be responsible for killing his father, but that's not what it was. It was a deeper meaning. See, in the winter months, when we look up in the cosmos, when we look up at the sky, the most brightest star in the sky we're going to see is Sirius. Sirius is within Canis Major and Canis Minor, right, which is the dog star. But it is a part of a constellation connected to a larger constellation called Orion. Orion is the hunter. If you look at the Narmer palette, Orion is in that same position that Narmer is on the Narmer palette. And when you look at the hunter, you look at his shoulder. He has a sun there called Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is the red star that is the shoulder of the hunter. Okay, what is the Winter Soldier? Okay, the Winter Soldier is the hunter. What does he have on his left shoulder? He has a red star. Okay, so he represents an Asaurian mythology as well, because remember, he's an offshoot of Captain America also. This is why the Panther and him had the relationship so strong, because he's representing epitome that Asaurian aspect, while the Winter Soldier is representing a Thor in his underworld aspect. And that's why at the end of the movie, he ended up getting the Winter Soldier and putting him underground in the underworld, because he possesses him. He's his aspect. He's responsible for him, you see, and they played that also throughout the movie. Now, earlier when I was talking about the Black Widow and her relationship with him, remember, she's not just us. And the Black Madonna, as I spoke in the previous rounds, she's also niece or Nat. This is why Iron Man and Hawkeye call them Nat. You see what I'm saying? Because Nat is Neith, and Neith is the Weaver. The Weaver is the spider. She's Black Widow. You see, she's the one that connects every universe. You see? And if you notice, they kind of bowed Black Widow out. You see, by the end of the movie, she exited stage left, and they brought the other spider in. Okay, how all of a sudden Marvel gets the rights back to Spider-Man, and now they're bringing Spider-Man into the universe because that also represents the Neith energy being passed on to the other Spidey, because that was actually the last scene of the movie after the credits, because there were 2 post-credit scenes. The last credit scene was actually Anansi at the very end. You know what I'm saying? Shooting the web up at the ceiling. You know, so you have, if you look at Black Widow's belt, it has Neith's symbol on it. You see what I'm saying? So you see all of these relationships between this deity, Neith, the Weaver, that Black Widow possesses. And like I said, a Black Widow is a fighter, so it's as simply put as that. Lastly, she has red hair. Red hair is the lower crown, the crown. And if you look at Neith, before she was known as a creatrix, she was a hunter. The same way the Black Widow is. The same arrows that are on Neith's emblem and Neith's logo are the same stingers that the Black Widow uses when she's fighting. And she wore the red crown of Lower Kemet. That's what she wore on her head, the same way the Black Widow has red hair. So you see those characters. As I spoke before, Scarlett Johansson is Het Haru and Sekhmet. That deity was married to the Neter Ptah. You see, and you see that played by the character Vision. See, and they have their relationship going on in the compound where he is the protector. It was the dynamic between Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Hawkeye. Now, anytime you see Hawkeye, you have to keep in mind that is the Eye of Heru. He represents precision. You see what I'm saying? Now, what is Hathor's Kemetic name? Het Heru. What does Het Heru translate into? House of Heru. So if he's Hawkeye and she's the House of Heru, then it wouldn't be a coincidence that every time we see those 2 characters, they're always confined in a very small square space, whether it was in the Avengers or whether it was in this one. And he's always the help, or he represents the Eye of Heru to give her greater insight into herself, to turn her from the Hathor into the Sekhmet character. Okay? So she was able to do that again and incited the Sekhmet in her to go against Vision in order to break out the compound. And what did she do to Vision? She turned Vision into like a rock, because remember, he's Ptah. He stands on the square. He's the foundation, or the Peter, which built the rock where the church was built from. You see what I'm saying? This is why he went down into the earth. The beginning of the movie started off with the action sequence of Grumlow, who's now Crossbones, right? And he's he's breaking into like a CDC in Nigeria to get a biological weapon of disease in Africa. Now, what was that all about? Well, like I told you, Basset, remember, she of the ointment jar. At the end of that fight, Wakandans got killed because they were in that building doing humanitarian work. Now, because the people from Wakanda got killed, that's why the King T'Chaka got involved with the UN to take accountability for their actions, especially since their vibranium was the one responsible for lifting up Sokovia in the first place. You see, so they steal this biological weapon and they get thwarted. They get stopped by Neith and Redwing, which is the Falcon aspect of the character who is Falcon.
Peace, hello?
Yeah. I'm here.
Okay.
KT, you here? His line dropped.
Yeah,
Let's wait for him to come back.
Yeah. That, hold on. What we?
Give him his obligatory. Come on, man.
Oh, no. Obligatory. I'm talking to you. It is obligatory. Let me open up his line. Yeah. You called in for your obligatory bombs. You already.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I appreciate it. But you know, it's just so interesting, man. Like,
Yeah.
I've been on this.
But
I've been on this road
like
to Wakanda.
you've been on the road to Wakanda, man, and like I said, I've never seen them in any movie setting for that matter give our people a look like that. You know what I'm saying? The Wakandans were on the humanitarian mission. Their spilled blood brought the whole UN to the mat. You feel me? They're like, nah, you're going to have to answer for this. Like, this ain't no regular blood. This is Wakandan blood.
That's right. That's right.
A sovereign nation.
That's right. That's right. Remember, he was called Your Highness through the whole movie. He was not arrested. He went where he wanted to go. He answered to no one. Yet he was humble. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, he's a powerful example. And when we're talking about the youth, we're talking about pop culture. They're attracted to the movies. They're attracted to the cartoons. They're attracted to the music and the video games. So, if there's ever something that can give them empowerment inside that comes out of society, it becomes a plus. And this is one of the first characters that we have in pop culture that actually incite, proper development in a young man's mind in regards to a role model. And what makes it so much more powerful is he's not fictitious because he's based on our ancient ancestry, and the proof is on the wall. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Okay, just making sure. Like I said, I got to keep making sure y'all there because I'm on this road right now. Right. So, like I said, there's so many aspects to this movie that makes it dynamic. Just the whole concept of the Accords at all. What are the Accords? Well, they're like, okay, y'all are superheroes. Bet. Now, and Vision even created the equation for it. He's like, look, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you have enhanced individuals popping up, then you're going to have enhanced challenges that are going to come into existence, which then is going to give birth to more enhanced individuals. You see, and at some point there has to be accountability. As people are blowing up buildings and levitating cities, people are going to die. So who's going to answer for that? Now we get into the Hegelian dialectic by the government with problem, response, solution. You see what I'm saying? So they have the Accords as a solution to what they deem as the problem. But the problem isn't them, you see. So now you have the guy who is called Captain America, who represents what? The Constitution. He represents the government. He represents their policies and their orders and their statutes because he's Captain of the Americas. But guess what? He doesn't agree with the Patriot Act. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't sit well with the Superhuman Registration Act or the Sokovia Accord, because signing yourself away, signing away your inalienable rights, or through acquiescence, allowing colonizers in order to take your wealth. You see what I'm saying? And your land and your resources. You don't want to do that. So that's what the battle was all about. And you're able to see the different aspects of the people that exist inside the movie because you have the three different types of black men. You have the Falcon, you have War Machine, and then you have the King. You got the Black Panther. You see, and these are the different types of black men that are in society right now. When you're dealing with War Machine is the super slave. You know what I'm saying? He's the 14th Amendment cat. He don't got no problem slaving it out for Tony Stark, do whenever he asked him to. This is why he got castrated at the end. He was weighed by Vision, and he got his heart got taken out. And when his heart got taken out, he was castrated. Now he like Professor X on some Magneto stuff. You see what I'm saying? Then you got Falcon, who represents this other type of black man who, he's a little bit more aggressive. He doesn't follow all the orders, but he still has to hang around society. He's still dependent upon the comforts that society has to offer. And that's what Sam Wilson's character is. Matter of fact, Sam Wilson, like I told y'all when I broke down Captain America The last one, The Winter Soldier, I talked about how Sam Wilson is Uncle Sam. Like, that's Uncle Sam's name. The white guy with the top hat that's pointing at you, talking about, we want you for the Army. His name is Sam Wilson. This is who they named the cat after. You see what I'm saying? So then you have that type of black man in society who's kind of breaking free a little bit, but he's still comfort. He's kind of straddling the fence, you know. Then last but not least, you got the sovereign. You got the free national. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we have with T'Challa. Okay, this is the guy who has to answer to nobody because he is the land. He is the highest commodity. He knows his inalienable rights. He knows where he can go, and he possesses the power and the force. Why? Because it's grounded in Wakanda. He's grounded in the Creator. He's grounded in the Spirit, and he uses his melanin to its most optimum point and existence. You see what I'm saying? So you have the three aspects of the psychosis of the black man in society played out right in front of us on the screen. Because the same way that the Black Panther Party was created out of the Civil Rights Movement, tell me why we have the Black Panther emerging out of the Civil War movie. Yeah,
Hello.
lightning strikes and then thunder claps.
Look, same week that the checked out.
Lightning strikes and then the thunder claps, man. So the other aspect was the fact that the Black Panther represented the feminine energy because he's representing the feminine power into the movie. You saw how powerful they portrayed Black Widow in the movie. How remember Scarlet Witch's thing was she was getting kept at home, prevented from going out. He was trying to cook. He couldn't even cook the stuff right, so she was forced to cook. She didn't need to be at home. She didn't need to be locked inside the compound. She needed to be free. So it was a liberating movie. Okay, that's why they had the strong black woman telling Scarlett Johansson to move or be moved. You see, it was liberating. Bastet is a female deity. Neith is a female deity. This is why the Falcon was beefing with him in the car, like, oh, so you rocking with cats, huh? Because we all know dogs are males and cats are females. You see, so that played through the whole movie as well, with that whole thing. And the father dying, you see what I'm saying? The father dying. So it's talking about empowering the woman. So the woman energy is going to become a lot more dominant in Marvel because they're going to come out with the Captain Marvel movie. Black Widow's going to get her standalone movie. So they have that strong feminine energy coming forth into the film as well. You know. What was I going to get into next? And then lastly, to drive the female energy home, when we got introduced to Tony Stark in the movie, he was doing the hippocampus virtual reality, what's it called? Oculus Rift joint. You see what I'm saying? He did the Oculus Rift with the hippocampus, where he tapped into this hippocampus to access a memory of the last night he saw his parents. Did that scene? He awarded all the students he awarded all the students scholarships, approving an endowment, and approving all of their science projects and everything that they were studying. So when he got done saying it, the teleprompter said, now introducing Pepper Potts, but they weren't together anymore, so he didn't say it. So instead what he said was, go break some eggs. Now, why would you make that statement? Then when he walks outside, he's about to go into the men's bathroom, but he changes his mind. He doesn't open the door. He goes to the elevator instead. Because remember, Iron Man represents a child. He's a big baby. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is Mars. Mars is war. He is a child. He represents baby Heru. He represents the Heru that's conflicted and has set growing out his neck. That's why as much good as he does, he always destroys everything.
Also, when you spoke about the effeminate nature of Iron Man, of course we know Iron is dealing with female.
That's right.
They got Robert Downey Jr. somebody who was like a Charlie Sheen back in his day. We ain't gonna speak on it, but I'm old enough to
you already
remember.
know he's swinging. He's a swinger.
Yeah, he's a swinger. So he had the Mr. Softy shirt on,
Mr.
right?
Softy.
In that scene.
That's right. That's right. Mr.
I was
Softy.
like, wow, look at this. KT's
They
on
played
that
it out. And then when Alfre Woodard met him by the elevator, she said, "Yeah, break all the eggs you like." She called him out because he represents the masculine energy, the patriarchy, the missiles, the guns. He's a weapons dealer. You see what I'm saying? So she was calling him out on that point. So anytime he's in a relationship with a woman in any of his movies, the woman always has more of a motherly role than a spousal role with him. You see what I'm saying? And when you look back at the scene where him and Captain America fought at the end, and Captain America took his heart out, stopped his suit, when he sat there, he sat like a woman. The curves of his armor was feminine. He almost looked like Samus from Metroid. You know what I'm saying? So they play that as well. You know what I'm saying? So I found that quite interesting how they kept playing on the whole egg. Every time you hear egg, you have to think Aset, because that's Aset's nature, is the egg, the oval that represents giving birth, that represents the sacred woman. Okay, so we got the dynamic of Kata and Sekhmet / Hathor with Vision and Scarlet Witch. You had the Hawkeye energy come in. You got the dynamic of the Falcon, War Machine, and the Panther. You got the dynamic of Black Widow and the Panther. You see what I'm saying? You got all these different dynamics playing out, and all you see is African cosmology just regurgitated on the screen. You see what I'm saying? On and on and on again. So you got to make sure that you do not sign away your inalienable rights. You don't need to sign up the accords. They're going to use blood, and they're going to use empathy as a means to try and get people to go against their better judgment. When they were arguing in the room, and Iron Man tried to use the example of how he gave up, selling all the war weapons and things like that, Captain America was like, dude, you decided to do that. That's the point. You see what I'm saying? They got to trust us and know that we're going to make proper decisions. You see what I mean? We can't just acquiesce all our power away to a bunch of men. You see what I'm saying? Because essentially they're gods. You see? So what are they answering to people who are inadequate? Why do we want to listen to people who are inadequate when compared to us? There's no reason why we should be following somebody who can't even view the universe with the same perspective that we can on our worst day. You see what I'm saying? So that's what he was trying to say, and that's his aspect of Tahuti, because Tahuti is the word. So anytime you see Captain America, he's always speaking. He's always speaking the word. You know what I mean? Hello?
No doubt. Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Okay. Just making sure y'all still there, man. Just making sure y'all still there. So,
yes, I do.
So, like I said, Black Panther, a lot of people were real surprised when I was able to call out, that he was going to get the role, because I was doing the math, with Jackie Robinson with the 42 degrees breaking the color barrier. Here he go. He's breaking the color barrier again right now. You see what I'm saying? As the Black Panther comes out, like nobody's thinking about Superman or Batman anymore. Nobody's thinking, even though Spider-Man made the debut in the movie and he was dope, nobody's talking about Spider-Man. Everybody is talking about the Black Panther. He's once again breaking the color barrier of these 42 degrees. And what do I mean by breaking color barrier of 42 degrees? 42 degrees is the angle that is necessary in order to create the rainbow. It's the angular momentum of sun rays, photons, as they penetrate the mist or the raindrops that exist on the rain that creates the rainbow. Jackie Robinson was number 42. He broke the color barrier in America's pastime known as baseball. And not just that, before he dealt with being in the Dodgers, he was in the military. At the same time, quote unquote, Captain America was fighting Red Skull, and he was in a battalion called the 77th Black Panther Battalion. And this was before the Black Panthers. And this was before the Black Panther in Marvel. So I find it quite ironic. And the last piece of irony that I'd have to add to it all is the fact that Jackie Robinson's son, Jackie Robinson's son is currently in Tanzania, which is in the relative area of where the fictional Wakanda would be at, and he is a farmer. He is a farmer in Tanzania. He moved from Queens. He moved from New York, and the dude is in Africa right now. And the article surfaced before the movie came out, and I found that was interesting that they brought it that like, first of all, why is Jackie Robinson relevant all of a sudden? And when was the last time we heard anything about his son, let alone him being in Africa, being a farmer near Wakanda? So, you know. Yeah, we have to take in consideration us. You know what I mean? We have to take care of our bodies. If I said is she of the ointment jar, then we need to get more involved in the ointments of life. Meaning we need to be more focused on what type of mixtures do I need to put together in my current state that's going to allow me to heal, to allow me to get the damaged psychology balanced again, to get myself together again. What do I have to do? You know, the black cat in alchemy represented an energy that descends into the subconscious and cleans out all the worrisome, fearsome cobwebs and all the garbage out of the subconscious mind that allows the revival to take place. When we talk about resurrection, when we talk about rejuvenation, we talk about healing, all those words are destinations. They are not the journey, you see. So what about the journey? So the Black Panther or the Black Cat actually represents the work that has to be done in order to facilitate the resurrection that occurs. All right? So that's what we're dealing with that, you know, with the Black Cat. Now, as we move forward, you know, in Marvel, you know, what direction is everything going to end up going in? Well, we're going to obviously get a Black Panther film, you know what I mean? So the movie is going to be very interesting. When they do the movie, because then we're actually going to go with inside the world of Wakanda. Right now, there's a comic that just got released by Nahisi and drawn by Brian Stilfreeze, and it's a real powerful story they got going on. So people want to get more insight on the Panther. It's a black writer, it's a black artist, and is dynamic that they got going on, so it'll give you a little bit more insight, you know, into the character. Plus, of course, we got, you know, All Roads Lead to Wakanda that we did 2 years ago, and then I have a YouTube video with presentations that I put on that goes with it. And then a lot of other
Yeah, our brother's in transit, family. Keep that in mind. So his signal probably dropped. He'll be calling right back in. All right. This your bathroom break.
You would think that I was in transit. My phone done dropped so many times.
Yeah, when the frequency is high like that, it usually happens.
Yeah.
You know, KT is killing it.
Yeah, like, there's only one or two options at this point, family. He has a doppelganger that's in Marvel, channeling his spirit and writing all of these movies. Or, you know, he's just 1,000% correct, and he's just, like, totally intertwined with the whole design of this whole paradigm. But it's either one of the two.
Yeah, cut the check, man. Hey, it's a go. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm really sitting back realizing that he prepared people mentally to see what they saw when they went and saw that movie, because How long has it been since all of us have been preparing the family and prepping them, but giving them the vision as futurists to what it's going to look like when they see us on the screen as superheroes, their own people, their superheroes. Now they get, I'm just glad that the babies get to see that. And we got to see more of it.
You already know. Do you have, is your board active where you at?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I got it.
Did you see, is he called back in yet?
Can you hear me?
Peace, hello?
Hey, Sig. Your line is open.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got
yes,
you.
Yes, we can.
Got you. Perfect. Yeah. Like I said, my apologies tonight, people. I am in transition. I'm traveling right now, so I'm dealing with signals and background.
On the highways and the byways,
things.
we got you.
Yeah. I had to get the signal out tonight to the people. Like I said, this is a preview. We're gonna go fully in depth with the visual presentation, all the bells and whistles, and go, dig deep in like I always do. But I definitely wanted to give the people a little something, with this opening, this movie, because it's big, man. This thing is powerful, and people got questions. They want to know because it kind of came out of nowhere.
Like I said, they're at a point where they have one or two options. Either you have a doppelganger that works at Marvel Studios, just writing these scripts exactly how you say they're going to be written 4 or 5 years in advance, or you've tapped into this design, this paradigm to such a degree that you're just able to steer this ship from a far distance. Now, I know what I do with the number 44, so this is not foreign to me. I understand. I get it.
Yeah. And I know we don't do with Rich. When we do those videos where we're prophesizing and lining things up and creating narratives. So we see what you're doing over here at Hollywood Decoded, and you're definitely speaking things into existence. Your Tahooties in full effect. Your scribe game is in full effect. You're the director of your movie. You're showing that. You feel me? And I'm just glad that we're here to bear witness to it. Did you share with the family? Make sure. Oh, okay. Did you share with the family that there was a clip on? I saw it on Facebook where the director was talking about how the brother from Black Panther was talking about how he got picked, how the guy left. Yeah. Make sure you drop it.
No doubt. Yeah. So if y'all go on YouTube and just Google Chadwick Boseman's story of getting the Black Panther, or how Black Panther actor got the part, this type something like that, and he's on maybe 3 or 4 different talk shows. One of them is the Michael and Kelly, and then you got Jimmy Kimmel and a couple other ones. But he tells the same story, and the story is now. Funny thing is, the reason why I said I knew Chadwick Boseman was going to be the Black Panther was because I broke down the whole Jackie Robinson thing, the fact he was in the Ernie Davis story, he was going to be in Get On Up. He had Gods of Egypt he was filming, and he was going to be Tahuti. And I was like, who's Captain America? And I was tying it all together, and I was like, yeah, this guy, he's the one that's going to end up playing him. It just makes sense. So fast forward to this point now, you're looking at him having an interview. He's talking about how he got the role. He said a security guard.
The Ernie Davis story, that was the number 44 player from Syracuse, right?
Yeah, that's number 44, Floyd Little.
So why is Michael Strahan 44 years old? Oh, please continue.
Oh, come on now. You already know.
Yeah.
So he says, while he was on the set filming Gods of Egypt, where he played Tahuti, okay?
Yes.
Remember, Tahuti is who Captain America plays. Captain America is the rendition of super soldier serum, a natural process that occurs in the Panther. When he was on set doing this film, a security guard came into his what do they call it, trailer. Took his original Black Panther comic. I think he said he had the first edition or something like that from back in the day, which was worth mad bread. He took his personal copy and left it on his desk and wrote on a Post-it that you're getting this part. He didn't know nothing about him going out for it. He didn't know nothing about Marvel giving him a call. He didn't know nothing about nothing. But he put this thing on his table, a security guard now. And when I say security guard, you know, they're the gatekeepers that at the same time, that's the average Joe. So that's the people. So for some reason, the spirit is talking through this individual to put this comic on his desk to incite something in him. Right after that, he got a call while he was on the red carpet for Get On Up. And they were like, yo, we need to talk. So he came off the red carpet, got in the car, and while he was driving around, they talking about him doing the role. You see what I'm saying? So when I was breaking the whole thing down about how they picked him, all the components that was in his story in that interview, I spoke of when I told everybody how I was able to see how he was going to get the part. And like I said, that's on the All Roads Lead to Wakanda. That's on Captain America, When the Soldier Decoded, where I went into all that. So I just found it real ironic that now that he's telling the story has all the components and the parts of my story. You know what I'm saying? I find it quite ironic, man. I'm loving it, man. I'm just sitting back enjoying the ride. I'm just so happy that I have a dialogue for the youth, because all of the young men and women that are in elementary school and junior high school right now, they're going to be talking about the Black Panther. That's going to be their favorite hero. That's who they're going to want to be on Halloween. That's who they're going to want on their lunchbox and their T-shirts and all types of stuff like that, which means if I want to speak to them about their culture, if I want to incite them about who they really are, I have a dialogue. You see what I'm saying? And because I know the cosmology that's behind the character, now I have a way to teach the culture and teach the youth about themselves and them to be proud of it and have something that they can identify with in modern society that piques their interest. And that's what this Hollywood Decoded is about. You see what I'm saying? Being able to use the medium of film as a way to convey higher realms of metaphysics, thoughts, culture, and science to those that are normally not interested with those subjects or too young to grasp it on a certain level, you know, finding that relativity factor.
Exactly. Definitely.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if you got some hands up or not, if we want to start going into the question portion or you want me to keep going. We're after the 11 o'clock hour.
Yeah. Just keep going for another 10 or 15, you know what I'm saying, and then we'll get to the call queue, take some questions from the audience, you heard?
There we go. Now, when you go into the astrological standpoint, you got to think about the Black Panther being the Leo. The Leo is the diplomat, you know, Obama, you know, Brother Polite, you know what I'm saying? The people that are usually out in front of the people, the face, that are able to speak to the people, the ambassadors. Those are the Leos, so that's a Leo energy. Now, Chadwick Boseman isn't a Leo, but, you know, definitely the Black Panther channels that Leo energy, you know. And Epidemic is very, very interesting because what that does is take us into the 25th dynasty of Taharka, Pianki, and Shabaka, and most importantly, the Shabaka stone, which speaks on Ptah and the Memphite text. You see, the Memphite text pretty much breaks down the whole Gaga, you know, God, our Almighty Grand Unified Theorem, or Gabriel or Yibo, you know. So when you deal with Epidemic, then you go into the 25th dynasty, which that royal lion energy. And what is the lion energy on a higher frequency? Well, if we go down to Upper Kemet, we'll find a temple of Epidemic. and there's a large pylon that exists where there's in inscription or engraving rather of a lotus flower with a serpent emerging from it and a pitamak being at the top of the serpent. Okay? Now, what does this mean? Why do they have a half serpent, half man, or really third serpent, third man, third lion creature coming out of a lotus flower in Nubia or the Sudan? What is so important about this? Well, I talk about the lotus in quantum mechanics or inside the high sciences of the community. I equate the lotus to the Calabiyao, Calabiyiau. The Calabiyao is a geometrical shape that represents the spaces in between spaces, or sizes that are so small that you can't fathom, similar to like what Ant-Man is on with the Pym particle. You see, that's what it is. And if you look at the Calabiyao, it looks like a lotus flower. It looks like a flower that is folded, that is to be opened up to reveal other dimensions. Okay? Now, this is light. This represents light and Kemet because the lotus flower emerges from the muddy waters. It closes and goes down in the muddy waters at night when the sun goes down, and when the sun comes up, it emerges out of the muddy waters and opens and shows brilliant flora colors, its beautiful, brilliant petals, which is reminiscent of light because light comes out of the darkness. So that's why they equate these two particular energies. Now, from the lotus or from the Calabiyao, from the space in between spaces, the subatomic particles that create photons, that create the light that sparks, is the plasma. Okay, plasma is the fourth state of matter, the state of matter in which atoms, the subatomic particles that make up atoms, the electrons, the protons, and neutrons are free-flowing, which creates powerful forces and powerful energy. This is represented by the serpent that is coming out of the lotus. The half-man, half-lion, which is a pitamak, represents the consolidation of that plasma, of that light, into a physical structure that is utilizing that light to better the relationship between man and nature here on this plane of Earth. And you'll see this symbol in Upper Kemet. This is the energy that Black Panther deals with. He deals with being able to utilize that melanin to encapsulate or utilize that plasma force energy coming from the lotus in order to be empowered or to display a great amount of strength as he deals with whatever his challenges are here on Earth. You know, so that's the epitomac energy. The Bastet energy is very interesting because she's not the oldest cat deity. There's also Maftet, which really was her prior to her being Bastet. Because what you'll notice with a lot of the deities, before they were creatrix, before they were nurturers, before they were domestic, they were killers, they were hunters, they were destroyers, okay? Massacres, you see. So Mafdet was a straight up like killer, like destroyer, you know. She was a warrior, cat-headed deity. And then afterwards they had the domesticated cat, and that's what Bastet is. So does that mean women need to be domesticated? No. It's just talking about using that energy in a different way. The same way you can light a fire, a campfire, and it'll burn the logs, and you'll see the plumes of smoke coming from it. That's combustion, burning of oxygen, liberating the carbon, right? Well, guess what? That same process occurs in our body and our cells through the citric acid cycle and electron transport chain. But guess what? It's not just frivolously wasted. It's not chaotic like a campfire. It's more controlled so that it's a more efficient way of using it. That we're dealing with that aspect where the Basset version of it was more nurturing and healing aspect. For analysis, you can also use fire to build and to wield to smelt, you know. So that's what those two particular energies represent there. Another thing that I found real dynamic too was the Falcon introduced Red Wing in the comic book. The Falcon had an actual Falcon that he was telekinetically connected to, and the Falcon would go around doing a lot of his biddings ahead of him, the same way cats would have like a German Shepherd or a dog doing stuff for him. But in this case, which is interesting, and I talked about this in another Decoded I did, I actually figured they were going to do this. Well, instead of him having an actual bird, he has a drone. Okay, and I always talk about the drone, especially in Interstellar, as being the Nesu Biti, or the bee. You see what I'm saying? But in this aspect, it's a falcon because he's a falcon. And I thought that was ironic because that helped him to be his all-seeing eye, because now Hawkeye wasn't present through the whole film, so now they had the all-seeing eye actually being this energy of this falcon, this drone that he had, this Red Wing that was going around doing his bidding for him.
They did. It was very
prominent.
Man.
So they had a lot of interesting dynamics going on in this one, man. That battle they had in that airport where they was all fighting and your boy Ant-Man turned Giant Man on them. You know what I mean? They wilded out. They wilded out, man. Like I can't front. They went in and it was like, this is the first like well balanced Marvel film. Like they got everything right on all cylinders. It just so happened to be the one where the black man finally makes his debut in the right light. You know, so I'm definitely.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man?
In regards to what? Just what my take on him? Who is he and all that?
For the narrative within itself, you know.
Like who Spider-Man is?
I mean, we know that we've heard you speak before about, of course, you know, a Nazi and things of that nature. So would he not also be recognized as a melanated character, even though?
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
We know what the comic book goes back to.
Yeah. Most definitely. Even his whole storyline with him being in like a single parent household with his aunt raising him. They don't have much money. You know what I'm saying? He's smart, he studies, but he doesn't feel that he should express his cool as much because then he won't be taking his cool into school. Like that's the dynamic of young black men and what they go through, and young black women and what they go through in society. Something relatable, you know. As you just said, you know, Spider-Man represents a non-spider. Marvel admitted that Peter Parker ain't nothing but a long lineage of Spider-Man. He just happened to be the one that was able to get that gene in this actual modern time. You see what I'm saying? But they've admitted that already. Now, when you're dealing with the energy of him, you're dealing with the magnetic field because he's the web, you know, the magnetic field of the earth. When you're dealing with all these characters, you're dealing with celestial events, as I said, with the Hunter being with the Winter Soldier, with the Black Panther being the Black Sun. You see what I mean? These are energies. These are planetary angles and influence, astrological alignments that are taking place, playing out in front of us. That's why they're called stars. You see, now with him, you're dealing with the magnetic field. You see what I mean? Because he was told to web them up. So they talk about the web. They talk about the interconnectedness, the internet, or the interneat. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, Black Widow is neat. They exited that character out, but they brought Spider-Man in. You see what I mean? Keeping the whole energy of the neat going. Now, to really take it to another level, if we go into the Dogon, a lot of people don't know about it, but in the Dogon, there's a deity by the name of Dada. That's a fire that weaves reality into existence in the Dogon. Dada is not a man. Dada is a woman. And I meant to talk about that at the Black Woman as God event I did with Farrah and Steady, and I didn't get to touch on that. But the word Dada was originally a term for mother, not for father. And I found that real powerful. Because anybody who has children can contest. The first thing that children say, they say dada before they say mama. You know what I mean? It just turns out that mama and dada is the same thing. You know? But the Spider-Man and bringing the Spider-Man character in, you know, was for that reason. You know, they're expounding on the universe, they're expounding on the interplay of the cosmology, and he was relevant, you know, so they had to bring that aspect in as well. So yeah, man, you got any callers in the queue right now?
Let me check. Callers, press 1. If you're in the call queue and you want to ask the Brother KT a question or you want to add on, press 1. All right? Hold on.
So when I was speaking earlier about the mechanoreceptors, when I was speaking earlier about the ligaments and the tendons being the part of the system you need to focus on in order to get this Black Panther-like powers that you express, this is all based upon the collagen network, okay? The collagen or the cartilage, the synovial fluid that's in between your joints, the cartilage that covers the caps of your bones, preventing them from rubbing against one another, and like I said, the Pacini and lamellar corpuscles that exist inside of the tendons and the ligaments that would allow you to stretch, would allow you to grasp on the edge of a building as you jump from one ledge to another, doing parkour and other type of exercises like this. The herb that would be necessary to take for these particular, to enhance these parts of your body would be Chondrus crispus. Chondrus crispus is sea moss. It's Irish moss. Chondrus means cartilage in Greek, okay? Crispus means curly in Latin, okay? It means curly cartilage, all right? And when you take in this cartilage, this plant-based cartilage, you see, you get 102 of the minerals in your body, and it starts to reinforce your tendons, reinforce your ligaments, reinforce the silica and selenium stores in your skin, your hair, and your nails. You see what I'm saying? So this is an herb that would help to assist you in enhancing your body and to help to get closer to that Black Panther. Now, another herb that I'm real focused on in dealing with the Black Panther is Lily of the Valley. The reason why I'm on Lily of the Valley is because they said the Black Panther, right, was able to get his energy from a heart-shaped herb. Now, what herb do I know on the planet that is best for the heart, greatest for the heart, greatest for the hip? And it's called Lily of the Valley. Lily of the Valley contains cardiac glycoside. A glycoside is a steroid. So it's a plant-based steroid that helps to regulate the SA node or sinoatrial node of the heart, stabilizing the beat of your heart. Your SA node is called your pacemaker. So the reason why this particular herb is not allowed in the country is because of its effects on the heart. And the AMA wouldn't exist. The American Heart, the AHA, the American Heart Association, wouldn't exist if this herb was on the market. You see what I'm saying? So this particular herb, Lily of the Valley, which I would say ironically is shaped like bells. Bells make sounds which are vibrations. So the same way we have a bell-shaped herb that represents vibration that helps the heart, in the fictitious world of Wakanda, we have a heart-shaped herb of helping the melanin. So I find those particular things relative as well, and I employ anybody to do their research and check out Lily of the Valley, which is one of the herbs that we deal with. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely. So my whole thing is, how do we get the Black Panther power in us? How do we build our body, our mind, our spirit, our soul, in order for us to be the sovereign, in order for us to be strong? Let's not forget, the Black Panther fought the Winter Soldier without his suit. You know what I'm saying? We forget when the Captain America, the Winter Soldier, came out, the Winter Soldier was the baddest nigga on the planet. You see what I'm saying? And he was fighting this dude with his slacks and his wallaby.
Mm.
Bringing the ruckus.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely bringing a ruckus, man. But like I said,
Can you speak about the recurring theme of vengeance?
Oh, vengeance, yes. That was powerful because that was his story arc. Look at how dynamic his situation was in the movie, where when he finally was outside with Baron Zemo, you know what I mean? He didn't have his purple mask on or nothing, like we know him back in the day. But when he was standing outside with Baron Zemo, he was like, vengeance has consumed you. Vengeance has consumed them. I'm not going to let the vengeance consume me. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times, man, the reason why we're so sick, the reason why we're so riddled with disease is because we hold grudges and because we're so harped on vengeance. We don't know how to forgive. We don't know how to let things go. We don't know how to release, you know what I'm saying, all these negative energies and forces out so we can find healing. That's what he came to understand in that moment. He's looking around at all these powerful, enhanced individuals, and what was the reason why the world was about to go to shit? The world was about to go to shit because a bunch of people had emotional turmoil, grudges, and hidden agendas amongst each other that came to the surface by way of one man just exposing a wound. You see what I'm saying? So he immediately recognized that and was like, yo, I can't be on this vengeance shit. That's not what this is about. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he was so important in this movie, because we're so used to good guy, bad guy. But guess what? The good guys are fighting. So if the good guys are fighting, then who's the good guy and who's the bad guy? And what is really wrong with our perspective in the audience looking at this film now, as we can't determine what's good and what's bad? Well, what if they've never been good? What if they've always been bad? We don't know that until we have a fresh perspective, and that's who T'Challa represented. He represented another perspective of viewing these characters and the dynamic and what they represented.
Can I add on?
Oh, of course.
That would be a continuation of the conversation that was shared with Batman versus Superman, because in that dynamic we begin to see what your hero turn into a villain. So they set up to play two superheroes, you know, being seen in the eyes of the people as superheroes, but amongst superheroes, how do you measure up? You feel me?
Right.
So one of them turned into an archangel, you know, and that was very interesting. So now in real life, in the real world, or in the Matrix for that matter, we are seeing the narrative play out in the real world, and it's like, wow, we're watching some of the elders turn into villains on us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're becoming like, you know, they're going from, you know, it's almost a mythos.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. It is a mythos because this is their Astar, this is their Zeus, this is their Krishna to the youth. You know, they're not deep in the religious texts. They're not in the temples. You know what I'm saying? No, they're reading comic books. They're looking at cartoons, and they're playing video games. And they're playing with toys. You see what I'm saying? So all these Marvel and DC characters are their deities. You see what I'm saying? To them, they want to be Thor. They want to be Green Lantern. You see what I'm saying?
What Red is talking about is simultaneously for us, alongside of comic books, was hip hop. So we wanted to be KRS-One. We wanted to be Eric B. Some people wanted to be Bambaataa. Okay, so now we're in a situation where we're seeing we've lived long enough to see our heroes turn into villains. It would be, without disrespect, we would say, damn, some of them should have died a long time ago to preserve their legacy. Because old age is not befitting to a superhero. It's almost like kryptonite. Huh? You feel me?
Oh yeah.
So and then even thinking about this weekend, when we saw that event, the press conference, it was the same thing. People were trying to turn a moment of grief into an agenda, you know what I'm saying? And it was driven by vengeance. But there was a theme that luckily I got to see part one because I wasn't present at part one. Present when they came across the street from the Apollo. Now in part one, Poppy expressed forgiveness. He said, I love this man, even with what he's done to me, and I forgive him, and if he would come forth, I'm willing to stand with him for treatment and help. That was powerful. That was the most powerful shit I heard all day. You feel me? So
yes.
To see the correlations and the connections, because what did they say? They said, Poppy, you're our superhero now. So you have the situation where if you listen to the attitude of what KRS-One is saying, he's saying, look, we're superheroes. The shit you're talking about, that happens to men. Let the men deal with it. Not the superheroes. You understand? Right. We the gods. Right. They're men. I'm not concerned with what the fuck happens to men. Let men deal with what happens to men. We gods.
And what's the narrative? I'm sorry, Blue. The narrative that the movie just set up was to take the gods back down to the level of men. That's what I'm
trying to tell you.
All right, go ahead.
But this is what we've seen in real life with Poppy is a situation. Remember, he kept saying what? They said what? Is hip-hop more important than Poppy? No. So they've reduced it to a degree where we grown up in a deaf culture where the people were just collateral damage. Even to some points, rappers became collateral damage to preserve the culture. Like, nah, the culture got to go on. The show must go on. We still going to party. Step over the body. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Keep the party going.
Move the body out the way. Keep the party going. But now we live into a point where they're saying, no, this man is more important than the party. This man is more, culture got to die, so be it. We're not going to continue to violate men. So we see in real life what these narratives on film, on big screen, have been portraying to us in a mythological setting. That shit is amazing. And I don't know if people caught it. Because now, Poppy he's the little man, right? He was a young boy who looked up to a godlike figure, a mythical figure, Bambaataa. So this young boy, that's looking up to this mythical figure, has brought this mythical figure down. You understand? Now to the point where they're saying, you're the superhero. You got to choose.
And that's, I mean, we're in the age of Aquarius, man. There's no more masters, no more leaders, and no more organizations. Everybody is self-perpetuating. See what I mean? And the only way that's going to happen is if you can bring the gods down to your level. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going on right now. And it's not so much of bringing gods down to your level, but you're really raising yourself up. It just seems like you're pulling something down to you, but you really come up on something higher, because even while you were looking at that person being a god, he still was doing the things that no one knew he was doing. So that don't take away from the fact that he's the deity or he's this big person who's bigger than life. He's still that. But now that you're more aware, you see what I'm saying? You see things differently, but that's still you raising your consciousness enough that allows you to become more aware of everything that's going on. So people are gaining greater awareness. The awareness is not discriminatory anymore. It's not just limited to just anything. It's up for grabs. And as long as you're in tune to the energies and the forces, then you're going to be able to expound, you see, and grow.
I agree, 110%. That's why when Red was coming with this narrative about you getting it all wrong, this ain't the time for that. This is the death of organizations, okay? And you're going to indiscriminately see it over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah. Black Panther came in there and shut the Avengers down. Shut them all down. Everybody for themselves. Point. Everybody for themselves. You got Captain America breaking people out of prison. Like, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying?
Cap.
Come on, man.
So let's do this. Let's go and see if there's any callers with their hands up.